Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue the remaining portion of chapter Annelida with another class, that is Oligochaeta. Oligochaeta, its members are mostly of earthworms. Earthworms are very familiar to us, right? Okay, and it is the second largest group of annelids. Annelids, second largest group is this one, and is composed mainly of earthworms. What are its features? It possesses Kita. Kita is there, but its number is very less when compared to nearest. So that is why it is called Oligochaeta. Oligo means less in number, few in number. So that's why it's called Oligochaeta. Chaeta is present, but its number is very less. And it is arranged almost singly and very rarely as bundles. But parapodia is absent. Uh, then distinct head also absent. So while I am telling all this point, you need to keep in your mind an image of earthworm. So it will be very easy for you to memorize all these points. Then aquatic forms are there. Aquatic forms of annelids, they possess gills. They are mostly hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites means both the sex organs, means male and female sex organs are present in same individual. That is hermaphrodites. And even if they are hermaphrodites, cross fertilization also happening there, copulation also happening there. Copulation means the act of exchanging sperm, sex cells between male and female. Means they are that exchange is not happening within the body. Instead, between a male and a female. Understand? That is, even if they are hermaphrodites, means even if its body of a single earthworm contain both male and female gonads, at some time they show cross fertilization. Clear? Then what about development is direct. Direct means there is no larval stages. That means its young ones exactly resembles that of adult. Then they possess permanent sex organs. Clitellum is present. What is clitellum? I will show you later. Clitellum, as I explained to you, it will become very clear, and I think you remember. Yes, such a structure is present in the body of gecko. Then species, how many species are identified till now? 3,500 species of earthworms are identified so far. Then we are directly going to learn about earthworm. Regarding its habitat. They are soil analysts. They are living burrows, and commonly, most usually, it possesses a length of 2 meters. Then they are found mostly in moist soil. Clitellum is present. Clitellum again came that word. Then how what's its action in the soil? I will show that in the soil. Suppose this is an earthworm, and this is soil. As it is moved through hard soil, as the earthworm moves through the hard soil, this soil enters into its body, and it is passing in this process. Whatever food nutrient present in the soil is absorbed to its body, and the waste is excreted out in the form of casting. And this is very familiar to us. This picture is shown here, and നമ്മൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ കുരിശിക്കട്ട എന്ന് പറയത്തില്ലേ, കുരിശി മണ്ണ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ആക്ച്വലി ദ കാസ്റ്റിങ്സ് ഓഫ് എർത്ത് വോം. Excreta. It's very fertile, rich in all the nutrients for the plants to grow, and because of this action, earthworm makes the soil fertile. So they are called farmer's friend. Okay, it's about its action in soil. Next point, regarding its morphology. What about is the morphology? Coming to morphology, we know that it's elongated. See, this is again the picture of casting, earthworm casting itself. Regarding the morphology, its body is elongated. We know its body is very elongated. It is cylindrical. That coming to thickness, it is not uniform. Its ends are more thin, and the somewhat middle portion is more thick, so it's not uniform length. Then dorsal side its color is brown, ventral side's color is brightly colored, and a dorsally a blood vessel, we can say it is passing to entire length. Then a fully grown earthworm is about 20 to 30 centimeter, 20 to 30 centimeter in length. And but exceptions are there. Example, giant Australian earthworm, it can grow up to 3 meter, and the segmentation is present both externally, also segmentation. We know that segments are present, but additional to the external segmentation, inside the body also segmentation present. That means certain body internal organs are repeating in each segment. So that's why we're telling that externally and internally segments are present. Then septas are there. Septa means partitions are there. And the number of segments, it can vary between 100 to 120 segments. Distinct head. We can't demarcate which is the head of the earthworm. And but first segment is called peristomium. Peristomium, and that peristomium bears the mouth. And prostomium also present. Prostomium, and in the its end, what present? Anus is present. Which are the apertures, openings in the body? Two paired openings are there. They are female and male genital apertures. They are paired. Then dorsal pores. In each segment, dorsal pores are present. Then nephridiopores for eliminating the waste. Nephridiopores are also present in each segment. It's about the morphology. Then we are going to learn more about the chaetae of earthworm. Very, very important. Okay. What's the function of this chaetae? Chaetae is mainly meant for locomotion. And what are the features? Each chaeta, I will explain you along with showing the image. This is a chaeta. Each chaeta is an elongated, more or less S-shaped. To certain extent, we can interpret as having this shape of a letter S. Yes, rod-shaped chitin. It is hardened, and it is strengthened by the addition of sclerotized protein. I will write the spelling. Sclerotized protein. Sclerotized protein, because of the addition of this protein, it is very hard, and it is embedded in a pit, epidermal pit. Here, this pit is called the setigerous sac or cetal sac or ketal sac. Setigerous. setigerous sac. In this sac, actually the kete is inserted. Okay. Then in the middle portion of the kete, we can see a bulbous region called the nodulus. What's the name of that bulbous portion? Is called nodulus. And it just this kete is secreted by a single cell, which is located in the kettle or setigerous sac. And what about its size? It is zero point 0.2. It is zero point 0.2 millimeter in length and 0.03 millimeter in breadth. And the number of setae or ketae in different segments are various. And usually they are numerous in each segment. Now, what about its arrangement in each segment? I will show you later. And it is arranged in the form of a ring. I will show you that. Here in this picture, it's very clear. And this is one segment. This is one segment. And this segment is a cross section, and in this segment we can see the kete. It is arranged in the form of a ring about the ventral side, because you see the ventral side, it is moving, crawling. As a form of a ring, and about 2/3 of the kete remains inside the body wall, and 1/3 only projects out. And the earthworm can retract this kete and also extend this kete with the help of two set of muscles called protractor and retractor muscles. Protractor and retractor muscle, I will show you. So, picture is there. This is the protractor muscle and this is the retractor muscle. With the help of this muscle, earthworm can retract and protract the heat. Okay. Next, we are going to see about the body wall. Body wall, regarding the body wall, outer is a cuticle layer. Below there is an epidermis, and below three layers of muscles are there. Outer layer is circular, and below that longitudinal, and below to that oblique layer of muscles are there. It's about the body arrangement. And below this oblique, below this three muscle layers present the parietal layer of coelomic epithelium. That's about the body wall. Then coming to the coelom. Coelom, it is partitioned segment wise, because internally the body of earthworm also segmented. So the coelom means body cavity is not continuous, it is partitioned with the help of septas. And each segment mid-dorsally a pore, that is called dorsal pore is present, and through this pore the coelomic fluid is exuding out and give moisture. And in the coelomic fluid, coelomocytes, certain cells also present inside this coelomic fluid. It's about the coelom. Then coming to the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a straight tube. I will show the picture. It's about the alimentary canal. It's a straight tube consists of mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, gizzard, stomach, then intestine. And finally it opens out at the end by ends. That's about that alimentary canal. I will explain it in detail. Mouth is seen at the anterior most end and it opens to buccal cavity. Buccal cavity, it is extended till the third segment. It is followed by pharynx. Pharynx extend till to the eighth segment, and the inner wall of the pharynx contains so many glands. Pharyngeal glands are there for helping the digestion. And the pharynx, and here there is a small crop is there, and followed by this gizzard. Gizzard is there, and gizzard is followed by stomach, and the stomach is followed by long intestine, and in the intestine wall as well as the esophageal wall also possess glands that secrete juice for helping the digestion. And coming to the intestine, there is one peculiarity similar to our intestinal wall. Intestinal wall, we know there are certain finger-like what positions in our intestine. It's called villi. So similar to that, here also the intestine have some invert finger-like extensions are there. So that type of intestine is called typhlosole, that in intestine with that internal extensions to long to extensions are called typhlosole, and that part of intestine is called typhlosolar part of intestine. That's about the alimentary canal of the earthworm. Clear? Uh, okay, next we are going to vascular system. Vascular system. What about the vascular system? Here is the image of vascular system. Is closed type. Closed type means the body fluid is flowing through closed vessel. There is no distinguished arteries or veins, but three principal blood vessels. In red color, we can see in this image. A dorsal vessel is there, a ventral vessel is there, and one more one, a subneural vessel. This red one is the subneural vessel. And this ventral vessel, what's its function? It conveys blood from anterior part of the body to the posterior surface. It's about the vascular system. Next is respiratory system. Respiratory system, there is no well defined organ or system for respiration. Instead of that, that respiration is carried out by skin, uh, because by keeping the skin moist, it is carry out its respiration. Then how it keeps the skin moist? By secreting mucus from epidermal mucus glands. And also just few minutes before I told you that in each segment there is a dorsal port, and through this pore coelomic fluid also exude out, and through that way also it maintain the moisture. That moisture content helps this earthworm to have its respiration. And this is the way how we to do respire. And also the gaseous exchange takes place between uh, the network of small vessels that found on the dorsal surface. And also above that, we know that a thin film of moisture is there, and between that thin film of moisture and small network of small vessels that seen underlying to that, between these two the gaseous exchange is taking place. In that way, the atmospheric air is taking into the body. It's a way of respiration in the case of earthworm. In what way? Mainly by maintaining moisture. Through maintaining that moisture, atmosphere air is caught to that moisture layer, and from that moisture layer, the caught air is transferred to the underlying network of small vessels. Then coming to the excretory system. Excretory system, excretion is done by nephridia. This nephridia is present in each segment. In each segment of earthworm contain this nephridia. And this nephridia have an internal funnel-shaped nephrostome and a preseptal canal. Preseptal canal means before this septa. So it's called preseptal canal is there. Then a postseptal means after the septa, there's another canal. That is postseptal canal. Then a coiled tube, and finally it opens out in each segment by a pore called nephridiopore. It's about the excretory system. Next is about its nervous system. Coming to the nervous system is of what type? Well, which are the peculiarities of its nervous system? I am going to show you. Nervous system composed of a pair of cerebral ganglia that we can see here. A pair of cerebral ganglia, this one and this one. A pair of cerebral ganglia is present, and connecting to that a pair of circumpharyngeal connectives are there. Circumpharyngeal connective, and it joins to form a subpharyngeal ganglia here. And then it is continues down till the end of the body, bearing segmental ganglia, means in each segment one ganglia each is present. That's about the nervous system. Clear? It's again another view of the nervous system. This is the digestive tract and this is the nervous system. Okay, nerve cord. That light blue color. Okay, then reproductive system. Coming to the reproductive system, in the beginning portion itself I mentioned that the earthworms are hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites means both male and female gonads or sexual organs are present in the same individual itself. So we are going to see which are the male reproductive organs and which are the female reproductive organs. And before going to that, we need to understand the position of reproductive organs. Usually it is located in the anterior few segments of body, where the anterior few segments of the body actually the reproductive structures are positioned. Then going to see which are the male reproductive organs. Male reproductive organs, using this image I will explain to you. Male reproductive structures mainly consists of testis, where it is, testis we can see here. This is the testis, then testis sac is there. Testis sac is there. These are two pairs of testes actually present. Two pairs, one pair and the second pair. Two pairs of testes is present, and testis sac is there. Then two pairs of seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles we can see here. This is the seminal vesicle. Two pairs of seminal vesicle we can see. Seminal vesicle, two pairs are there. Two pairs of seminal funnels also there. Sperminal funnel. This is the seminal funnel. We can one pair and second pair. Two pairs of seminal funnels also there. Then vas differentia. This one. Vas differentia. Vas differentia is there. Then a pair of prostate gland. A pair of prostate gland is there. Clitellum means this ring-like outer structure that's seen over the skin. That is the clitellum. It's have some significance with respect to its reproduction. I will explain to you later. Okay. Now just hear that term, clitellum. Then some glandular structures means associated glandular structures. These are the male reproductive structures. Once more, which are the two pairs of testis sac is there, then seminal vesicle is there, seminal funnel is there, then what vas differentia is there, then prostate gland is there, clitellum is there, and glandular structures. This is a male. Then we are going to female. female reproductive structures. Which are they? Female one consists of spermatheca. Spermatheca, I will show you. Spermatheca is that these are the spermatheca. Usually its number ranges from 2 to 7 phase of spermatheca. What's its significance? Spermatheca is actually storing the sperm that gain a from another male, because even if this earthworm is having both the male and female sex organ, even then it prefer cross fertilization. It need to take it always wish to take the sperm from other earthworm. So whenever it receives sperm from other earthworm, it is storing temporarily in this spermatheca. Spermatheca is a part of female reproductive structure. Clear? Okay, spermatheca is the temporary storage site of sperm, the received sperm. And what about its number? It is 2 to 7 pairs. Then spermatheca is the first one. Second one, it's what, ovary. Ovary we can see here. Ovary. A pair of ovary is there. Then ovarian funnel is there. Ovarian funnel is there, this one. And third one, then last one, oviduct is there. Oviduct. So the female reproductory structures. Okay, that's about the system, reproductory system of earthworm. Okay, I think it's very clear. Then I will explain what's the method of cross fertilization. Cross fertilization means how it receives sperm from other earthworm, because it is not taking the sperm of its own. Instead, how it is taking? What's the method? It takes the sperm from other. Explain that. Suppose this is one earthworm and this is another earthworm. They came in such a positioning, and from this earthworms, from its male genital opening, sperm is released to this earthworm and it is temporarily stored in its spermatheca. It is stored here. And also similarly, from its male genital opening, the sperm of this earthworm enters the body of this earthworm and is stored in the spermatheca of this earthworm, and then they separate each other. Then what structure is forming? Structure means a clitellum is forming. It's a thick mucus derived structure. It's like a outer cover, and it gradually moves in this direction. As it moves towards downwards from the female genital opening, what is shed to this clitellum? Egg is shed or released to this clitellum, and then the clitellum proceed its movement towards this direction. We'll redraw it, and the clitellum is somewhat in this location and is having that egg. And as it reaches the opening of spermathecal opening, from the spermatheca, what is released? The sperm. Then sperm also enters this clitellum. Then this clitellum is removed from the body of the earthworm. It is free, and inside the clitellum, egg is there, sperm is there. It fused to form a zygote, and it's become a cocoon. And from this cocoon, then later a juvenile earthworm is developing by breaking this cocoon. This is the process in its cross fertilization. Then I will show it using a figure once again. This is the male genital opening, female genital opening. And before that, from the male genital opening, sperm is entering here. Here also, the sperm is entering in the body of other earthworm. They depart each other, and now clitoridum is forming. As it passes through the female genital pore, egg is shed to this clitoridum. Clitoridum is further moving towards this direction, and the sperm that is stored in the spermatheca is released to the clitoridum, and then egg and sperm is there. They undergo fertilization to form cocoon. From the cocoon, zygote, and zygote then develops to a juvenile earthworm. It's a process. Okay. Next, we are going to see and to learn about Hirudiniae, class Hirudiniae. Its example is leeches. Its habit and habitat. What about its habit and habitat? Uh, they are freshwater and also found in marine and also in terrestrial. Then it is a regarding its habit, it is an ectoparasite. Ectoparasite means it is parasitic and seen on outer body surface of its host instead of seeing inside the body. That is called the ectoparasite. It's a blood sucking parasite. Regarding the body, see dorso-ventrally flattened. This picture we can understand that it is dorso-ventrally flattened, cylindrical. About 33 segments are present in its body, and each segment has some ring-like annuli over the body. Parapody and chytae are absent. Then anterior and posterior segments peculiarity. Anterior segment and posterior segment both are modified into two suckers. Anterior sucker is a small one and the posterior is a disc shaped big one. And the function is attachment, locomotion for that's a function. And regarding the head, what about the head? Head is composed of five segments. Five segments joined to form the head, and the dorsal side of the head bears so many ocelli. Ocelli is somewhat equivalent to eyes. And also a sucker is there, and inside the sucker, mouth is present. That's about the head. In coming to trunk composed of 21 segments. Trunk composed of 21 segments. And how can we divide the trunk to preclitellar? Means the segments reaching before the clitellum. That is preclitellar region. Then clitellum and the postclitellar region. In this way we are dividing the trunk segments. That about the division of the trunk segments. Then going to the posterior sucker. Posterior sucker is composed of posterior 7 segments from the posterior sucker. And anus, what's the position? Dorsal to the posterior sucker is located the anus. And these leeches are also hermaphrodites. And the clitellum is developed during the time of breeding season. Then fertilized egg is deposited in cocoons. Development is directed without any larval form. So far 500 species are identified. Hirudiniae. Hirudiniae, its example is Hirudinaria. Specifically, there is a leech. Going to see from now. Common name. What's the common name? Indian cattle leech. Indian cattle leech. What about the habitat? They are freshwater. It's found in freshwater tanks, ponds, wherever moisture is there. In all those areas, there's chance to locate this leeches. Then coming to its appearance, it is in a contracted states body, somewhat cylindrical state, and in normal state it appears to be dorso-ventrally flattened, 35 to 40 centimeter in length. Dorsal side, what's the color? Is olive green, and its ventral side is somewhat orange yellow color. Totally 33 segments are present in the body, and each segments 4 or 5 are having a superficial annuli and ring-like structures are present. Body we can divide to head, trunk, and posterior suck region. Head, trunk, posterior sucker region. Coming to the head portion, composed of anterior 5 segments, a beer sucker anteriorly, and inside the sucker present the mouth, and dorsal side present 5 pairs of ocelli. That's about head. Coming to the trunk, 21 segments are there, and we can divide these segments to preclitellar, in front of the clitellar, that is preclitellar, clitellar, and postclitellar segments. It's about the trunk. Then next point, I'm going to next slide. So posterior sucker region. Posterior sucker region is composed of 7 segments. 7 segments here, and it is circular disc shaped, and its dorsal surface present anus. Then coming to the body wall, so picture shown here. Body wall, outer this cuticle is there, and below that epidermis is there, this light blue, and below the epidermis 3 layers of muscles. First one is a circular muscle layer, then longitudinal is a cross section. That's what longitudinal muscles appears like circles, small circles. Longitudinal means he is arranged somewhat in this way, and as it is cross section, it appears like that circle. Longitudinal muscles, then obliquely arranged. Obliquely arranged muscles, actually it is arranged somewhat like in this way. Oblique, its cross section, it's showing in this form. So 3 layers of muscles is there. That's the body wall. Then inside the coelomic cavity is present. It is filled with the coelomic fluid. It's about the body wall. Then locomotion is a pattern of locomotion. Yes, it is swimming or crawling type locomotion we can see, and crawling is most common type of locomotion. Then regarding the feeding, what about its feeding? It's a blood sucker. I will show a video also regarding its feeding. In what way it have its feeding, and that I am going to show you using a video. And before that, I will explain some points. It feeds blood, consume blood using the suckers. We know that it have 2 suckers, anterior and posterior sucker. Using the anterior sucker, it attach the host body part, and it possesses 3 saw-like chitinous jaws. One is dorsal and 2 are ventral. And using this jaws, it cuts the skin of the host, and while cutting, it secretes hirudin and also an anesthetic chemical into the host body. What's the purpose of this action? Is to prevent the coagulation of his blood. Then only it can continuously suck the blood from the host. Then it suck the blood using the muscular pharynx, and when its crop is completely filled with the blood, then it shed down from the body of the horse. This is a feeding pattern. That feeding pattern we can see now in a video that I will show you.
It feeds on blood. This worm is a leech. Stealing through the water, these leeches scour ponds and marshes in search of their next meal. They are the masters of stealth, hunting with bloodthirsty efficiency. Sometimes hapless victims come to them, making for easy prey.
And that leech will come and start to bite his leg. First, it tried to find a suitable location to suck the blood And after finding that suitable position, then it's start to bite and make a wound and to start to suck the blood, that we can see here. Yes, coming.
Creeping around its victim without being detected, the leech probes for a soft, blood-rich spot to latch onto. Leeches have even developed a means to mask their ferocious bite.
Sucker.
The bloodsuckers have an anesthetic that they inject into their victims that allows them to suck the blood without being noticed.
Sucking
That's
the blood.
very effective way
And
of feeding.
then jaws we can see here.
This leech is
Now the
equipped
jaws.
with 3 saw-like jaws
Three
that
jaws.
tear into flesh, enabling it to gorge itself, sometimes
dorsal,
taking in 10
ventral.
times its own body weight in blood. Given time, the once graceful leech becomes so engorged it can barely even crawl away. It can now go
Crawl
several
away
months
from
without
the
another
host.
feeding.
Right, very slowly. Cannot move even because it takes that much blood from the host. Okay, that's about it. Then I think it's very clear. Then regarding its excretion, how it excrete by segmentally arranged nephridia itself, just similar to that of earthworm, and its waste is ammonia. And what about the reproduction? Also somewhat similar to the earthworm itself. These leeches are also hermaphrodites, and its mating happens in land during summer. And it copulate, fertilize egg laid inside the cocoon, and inside the cocoon itself, the fertilization happens. Zygote may form, and from the zygote, young leech are coming out. There's a reproduction. Then which are the parasitic adaptations? This parasitic adaptation is very, very important. Parasitic adaptations of Erythnia. So many times it has asked for the examination. So parasitic one is presence of sucker. Second is the presence of 3 chitinous jaws to make the wound. And the secretion of hirudin, that chemical for a continuous flow of blood from the body of host. Then anesthetic saliva. By applying this, it can make the host not aware about that wound. Then muscular pharynx is there for sucking the blood. Then crop for storing that blood. Okay, with this, we finish this chapter. Thank you.